Good afternoon, Final Fantasy Randomizer fans, and welcome to Game 4 of Week 1 of the Final Fantasy Randomizer Fall League 2021. My name's Jat. I'm joined here in the booth by Dead Pulse, and our special watching the other streams commentator tonight is Gans Gone Wild. How are you guys doing, Dead Pulse and Gans?
Oh, wonderful.
Doing pretty good. Just got out of bed, so, we'll see if we can keep it together.
Excellent, excellent. So, we have some exciting stuff going on here tonight. We have 4 teams that are all very, very close, and then the rest of the pack, honestly, not too far behind. Want to give a rundown of the current standings, Dead Pulse?
Oh, absolutely. After 3 days, we have a tie for first place. That is the Keyboard Cats and Team Cheese Fries at 24 points. 1 point behind is the former champions, Team Cake and Break. And 1 point behind that, rounding out the top 4, are the Faculty. After that, we have the Onrak Fish and Game Commission and the Trash Island Fire Department, just a point behind. Then Carry On My Wayward Sons, Center for Competitive Forfeiting, the Dev Team, and the rest of the teams are right in the thick. We got the Gur Snakes, we have Liches Get Stitches, the Melmon chapter of the Movement for Undead Rights, Senile Cats, Pajama Vocal Band, Super Fiends. It is anybody's race, and I'm excited. I've been up for, 7 or so hours just anticipating what it's going to look like at the end of week 1.
Yeah, absolutely. So not only that, I do want to remind everyone that there's 2 additional bonus points going on, and they're up for grabs right now. Lowest level when starting the fight against Chaos, and that is currently being held at 28. And then the other one is fastest time, which is currently being held by Spellzap. I think with this double fighter start, unless we see some immediate black magic caster and black belt, it's going to be really difficult to beat Spellzap. But the 28, I'm curious to see if anyone has a strategy to specifically go for low level. I mean, to be fair, even if they had black belt red mage start, it might still be hard to beat Spellzap. But you can't really aim to get the fastest time, but you definitely can aim to get the lowest level. Other things about this flag set, if you're watching for the first time, we are playing free enterprise, which basically means you start with the airship. There are lots of locations available right off the bat. EXP is very high. We have a short Topher with alternate fiends, but we do have chaos at the end of the day. The general strategy is going to be for people to get a bunch of items at the beginning, then they're going to get some levels, try and find the rest of the key items, which, every single key item location is on, so there's lots of duds out there, but finding the right locations at the right time is critical, and then find some way to beat a pretty tough Topher. What's the scaling at here, Dead Pulse?
Oh, I don't have that in front of me, but I know it's like 200 to 350 or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's 150 to 350, but yeah, it's insanely high, so you definitely need to be ready to take out some very, very beefy Chaoses, for example. So Chaos, minimum HP is 3,000, and it goes all the ways up to, 7,000? So, yeah.
And we saw about a 7,000 hit point Chaos in the first race of this week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it definitely happens. Now, the boss stats themselves are not crazy, so they're not going to be punching insanely high, but the problem is that they're very, very difficult to kill without a lot of firepower, because you're just going to, the fight's just going to take too long. Immediate divergence. Lend the cat, I assume, going to Cardia to get some money. We also have Guardian Marcus talking to the king first. Meanwhile, the other runners are kind of taking a more traditional start. Coral +2 in the store, pretty solid. So the way Life Reboot is doing this is by selling the starting item, which was something that wasn't very helpful. They were able to buy 2 weapons right off the bat.
Yeah, I really do like that. I think it was 20% plus hit. I mean, the -10 strength is going to be a hamper, but I still think 2 rounds, he can take out Garland, no problem.
I agree. Guardian Marcus's strategy to visit the king kind of paying off a little bit here. Able to go and get the slab early, but also critically a little bit of gold. That's really nice. Meanwhile, Life Reboot deciding that we're going to go visit Cardia. I've been actually leaning towards just killing Garland and the pirates pretty early in the seed, but I know a lot of other runners want to collect some key items first, and that looks like what Guardian Marcus is doing here. Okay, Rock Solid onto Garland. Gets through, though. That Coral Sword doing some serious work.
Yeah, and we'll see what Princess Sarah was hiding. The TNT.
Yeah. So I also want to point out that Sarda has the Oxyel. So something very unique about Free Enterprise here is that we Every single incentive location is turned on, but only 6 items are required to win the game. The Oxale is one of them, but it's going to be very, very important which minor dungeons, as well as which fiend dungeons, have the remaining key items. So the ones that you're going to be looking for are going to be the key, the loot, which are the 2 items in the top right, and then the 4 items on the bottom of the tracker, the rod, the Oxale, the chime, and the cube. So those are really going to be items that we need to keep an eye out. The Oxale is essentially free, unless you forget about Sarda, but the other ones, nothing immediately popping up.
For all the divergence, we're getting a little convergence as we have 2 runners over in Crescent Lake, and we have Len the Cat and Rock Solid High Five on their opposite ways out of the Temple of Fiends.
Life Reboot finding a very, very important item that significantly changes the routing in Free Enterprise, which is you got the key from the Sages. So, you know, the key's a pretty important item. The reason is it does 2 main things. One is it makes the Marsh dive a lot better because the Marsh key locked and the Marsh incentive is built on. So with 2 key items available in Marsh, you're going to want to go over there a little bit earlier. The other thing, of course, is it just opens up the Cardia Treasury, so that's just a free key item. But expect some early Marsh dives with that early key.
What it looks like Guardian Marcus is doing is checking all of the key NPCs, hoping to find like a black magic caster.
Mm-hmm.
I do like this play, and we see something there, but I didn't catch what character it was in the chain.
Looks like a white? No, I have no idea what that is. Oh, not even talking to it, though.
It looked like a fighter.
That's a fighter. Okay, hate our fantastic researcher tonight pointing out. And I also want to give a quick shout out to our trackers tonight, Wilhelm and Chadbert, keeping us up to date behind the scenes as well as keeping all of you informed via the trackers that are located in the corners of the screen.
So, Blink and you missed it. Len the Cat checked the 2 chests in Dwarf's Cave, found a ruse stick.
Ooh, very nice. I think that's guaranteed to exist in the seed, but usually people aren't opening a lot of boxes, so definitely a nice pickup, but critical point right now that you mentioned. No black magic casters right now available. A little bit unusual, actually, to have no recruitable characters so far.
Yeah, here's where it starts to get scary. You have an Excal +2. We just found the Vorpal +5. You start with 2 fighters. You have a ruse stick. At this point, if level 2 or if you had life 2 or ruse that was learnable by the fighter, I wouldn't change characters anymore. I would go find a single enemy to fight. I would get my promotion so I could use those awesome weapons, and I would just try to blaze through this seed at the lowest level possible.
Yeah, heal 3 not quite gonna cut it. Like, heal 3 is an excellent spell, but it's not really what you're looking for like, 2 fighter strats. Very interesting. Yeah, J-Lo also pointing out correctly, like, where's the tail? We haven't found that yet, and that could be, worst case scenario, like in Sky or something very, very late where you're feeling a little bit uncomfortable. Because keep in mind, their best weapon right now is a Coral Sword if they can't promote, because both the Excal and the Vorpal are promotion locked. Oh, wow. There's the tail. Commentary of Blessing.
I want to see Life Reboot go instantly promote right now.
Yeah, that was a critical decision point in the seed that we ran on Tuesday, or Thursday, is when do you promote? People who just committed to the fighter early did a lot better. So what's the downside of promoting right away, like in the seed like this?
Well, so if you promote right away and you do get a black belt recruited, that black belt is going to be a master from level 1 on, which means that their magic defense growth is only going to be 1 instead of the 4 if you didn't promote.
Right, so it's going to hamper your ability to switch into black belt strats, but there is also an incentive ribbon and an incentive opal bracelet, so it's not really crushing if you do manage to find both of those, because you can just equip a ribbon, and then your MDEF is still meaningful, but not as critical.
So where the nightmare happens is, this happened to me in practice, where I did just that. I promoted really early, I switched over to a black belt. The black belt had the Malice no ribbon.
Oh, what a nightmare.
And let's just say I got cracked several times trying to get my way through Temple of Fiends.
Oh, rough. Yeah, so one of the things is that, people at home might not recognize is that these runners are playing with Blur's classes, but they can't check the Blurses until they add them to their party, which can make things difficult because you don't usually want to add it to an empty slot in case you you want to keep the levels on it, because the levels are transferred, because you can transfer to characters that are not nuns. As we find the cube from Matoya, just quickly checking our notes, where was the crystal? Melman
Crystal
shop.
is the shop item, yep.
So 3 of 6 key items are easily accessible, but that does still leave 3 additional ones that are potentially, hiding in some combination of sub-dungeons. And as we're about 7 minutes into the seed, I'll just quickly pass it over to our commentator on the ground here, Gannon. Any interesting updates from any of our other runners that are running right now? This is a race of 14 people, by the way, so there's 10 additional runners off stream.
So I'm keeping track of 6 other players in best of my ability. Right now, most of them have gotten the tail, but I have not seen anybody promote.
Okay.
So it looks like I know Thunder, Sho Fukumachi, I believe Chanigan, and I think 1 or 2 other runners have gotten the tail. Nobody's promoted. There is that ruse stick. There's actually 2. There's one right next to the tail, and then there's another one in the dwarf cave. So, like you guys are mentioning, it's definitely an option if someone wants to promote. But I have not seen anybody do that yet. So that's definitely a big decision point right now. But looks like no one's ready to commit quite yet.
Perfect. Thanks for that update, Gannon. So it sounds like there's 3 characters that are linked to NPCs, as well as 4 behind fiends. We've only seen 1. Is that correct, Dead Pulse?
Yes, we've only seen that fighter, so there's still 2 more out there for NPCs.
Which means we have a couple options available. I believe the waterfall robot can have one, the fairy can have one, all the fetch quests turn in, so Narek, Narek doesn't have one because we already seen, but Smithy McBeardsmith. We are running out of options, to be honest. There's not that many locations left. Like, almost half of the NPCs left are going to have a character beside them. I'm anticipating someone do a Marsh dive pretty soon here, just to see what key items we pull up out of there now that we have the key. Marsh should not be too hard to get through.
Yeah, the Marsh dive is interesting because we don't have any way to get out quickly, I guess. So in my mind, I would think, all right, if I promoted, maybe exit was learnable, and I could use that, get a couple of levels to get it. But without that,
have we checked level? I haven't seen anyone go into Elford yet, so we don't even know what level 3 magic has. Because once again, if level 3 magic has Cure 4, Life 2, or Exit that are night learnable, this is a pretty different seed than if level 3 is just a full blank.
When it's raining ruse sticks like this, and you have 2 very powerful endgame weapons, plus you have the Mass Immune in the final dungeon, this, maybe I'm incorrect, but this is screaming, keep those 2 fighters and just go for it.
Oh, that's kind of hilarious. Our tracker's pointing out to me that someone just killed the fighter for the pirates for the first time that we've seen on screen, and that was the chime. So we're actually 2 items from Go mode here, just doing basic checks. This is going to be a little ugly, I think, Dead Pulse, because that means those 2 items. This race is going to be very, very dependent on which people guess the right sub-dungeons.
So this is where I would start becoming terrified, because if you guess the right dungeons, you think, oh, this is going to be great. But let's say that you don't get the crown, and that's where the black belt is behind.
Yes.
You're at a huge disadvantage.
We're at massive amounts of divergence and variance here, just depending on what people are doing. Okay, Rock Solid, the first person to dive down into Marsh. The Marsh play just always calls out to me whenever I have the key, because I want to check those 2 items, although it is a lot slower. I think he calculates like 1.5 minutes or something to walk out.
Yeah, but we do get the bottle out of there, so that's going to be, another key item check that we can. Hopefully, the fairy will be hiding, something good.
It's about 50%, right? For it to have an NPC or to lead to an NPC if it's a continued fetch quest. Okay, Lend the Cat, first person to commit. We have knights on the screen. You like this, right, Dead Pulse?
I love this play. I think that this is going to be the key here to get yourself promoted, use that XCal, find a grind quick, get to 21 with your characters. You can kill most things with it. And Roxel found a crown, so now he has 2 key NPCs that he can turn into, and if he's looking for a black magic caster, hoping for it.
Yeah, for sure.
I just want to say real quick, Thunderclad has also promoted as well. So yeah, he looks like he is just going with the fighters, or the knights rather.
Perfect. Yeah, this is a critical decision point. I think Rock Solid's next, couple minutes here is going to really tell us if there's easily accessible black belts available in the seed. So we keep talking about this black belt. The reason is because with the HP growth being so high, the black belt is the most reliable way to get through the Temple of Fiends Revisited. A 42 black belt is very obtainable with the EXP being so high. So yeah, very common for people to want to do that. And we have a black mage. That's something.
Not only that, but we get the herb from the crown tournament. So again, another NPC tournament.
If the herb or the bottle turn into a black belt, the non-fighter route is going to be increasingly appealing. Not that the fighter route can't win, but I'll give another example. Temple of Fiends Revisited takes about 2 minutes-ish, just over 2 minutes with a black belt if it can get fasted and just like burn through the bosses. With a fighter, it takes closer to 4, even if you can get fast. If you can't get fast, it's going to be even slower. So just things to keep in mind.
And absolutely, what we kind of missed on Life Reboot screen is he went down into Waterfall. And you know me, I love Waterfall, almost as much as Ordeals. But he got the loot out of it, and he found a pretty decent grind tile. I think it looked like a blue stake, but it was a Tyro.
I think it was Tyro, yeah. I saw the blue stake pop up on his screen. I quickly glanced over to see where it was, but yeah, it was a Tyro, not a T-Rex. The Randomizer really screws with the colors, and it really messes up a lot of people's recognition of enemies. So, yeah. This is a long fight for Rock Solid against this Astos. It's not looking particularly dangerous, but he needs crits. The minus 10 strength really hurting here.
And this Astos could have, a pretty high amount of health.
Yeah, like 600, 500? No, Astos has like 150.
Yeah, for
like
2 fighters and one stun, one of them stun touched, and you have, pocket full of dreams. It's going to take a minute and a half.
Okay, we're through. Got the herb. Is he going to take the Black Mage? Yes. Is he going to replace? Yes. Okay, this is interesting. Now, keep in mind that Lefane does have that fighter, so if we need to, back out of the Black Mage plan, we can always go get another Black Fighter, but of course that is going to take some amount of time. Life Reboot going back for the stake. Okay, so Life Reboot has a very solid plan. I hesitate to use the word solid, but, has a plan, which I like a lot. We have promoted knights with swords, and we're going to get our levels on the stake.
Yes. Oh, yeah, that's 8,300 experience per fight. He can take this to 42 in a matter of 6 minutes.
Also, ooh, that's a little unfortunate, actually. The Deuce is making things slower, but as long as it doesn't have, stun touch or something, it's not the end of the world. There was a character in Elfland, I believe, in the Elfland Castle. Did anyone pick up what that was? It flashed right beside, before I could see what it was. Saracen.
I did not catch it.
Okay, Saracen pointing out in chat that Knight has Fade. Temper's level 4. Problem is, if Knights don't have life, this Black Mage is just not going to do anything, because it's just going to die.
Well, that's very grim. Accurate, but still grim.
Okay, Life Reboot getting through, 10k experience with the Deuces. Lots of heal pots, a very common beginner mistake. And, ooh, Guardian Marcus with some spicy plays here. We have your favorite dungeon, Deadballs.
Yes, Guardian Marcus, I'm now rooting for you. Sorry, Link.
No, we can't abandon Link. I mean, there's no bias in this commentary booth whatsoever. You did not just happen to put 2 people from the same team on comms. Yeah, so, lots of different divergent plans. Cat getting some levels in Earth. I'll pass it over quickly to Ganon to see if has anyone else committed to the fighter? Or the knights?
I don't see anyone else clearly having promoted. It's a little tough to tell with the sprites that people use, but I can tell you that Thunder is definitely hunting for a grind tile.
Okay.
Did find a Wizmummy tile in Earth 1. Looks like he is taking some levels there right now. Everybody else is still kind of clearing out the overworld. Oh, it looks like Shoko Futamachi right now is going to promote as I speak. So, yeah, that's kind of what's going on right now. But yeah, Thunder's the only one who's actually grinding, and Shoko Futamachi is the only one I can tell to have promoted.
Awesome. Shun Bobby saying in chat that there's 6 runners that have promoted out of 14. So definitely some divergence, but I believe with that I think it was a white mage in Elfland. I believe that there are no NPC-gated characters remaining, which means unless we find the Rod pretty early or someone feels like they can kill Carry and that turns into a black belt, the early committal to the fighters is probably going to be the superior strategy for the seed. Even if there's a black belt like behind Tia, it's not really that... Like, you need to get there, and Warmac is scary as all heck.
So Guardian Marcus in Ordeals managed to find a Sandworm tile,
Ooh.
and this multiple Cerberus, not terrible.
No.
I do like LRB's grind so far, and I believe Life Reboot is at level 29.
Yeah, this... So, it's funny, you would think that adding, 2,000 to 4,000 experience per fight with the Deuces will be faster, but you actually just want Tyro. So, it slowed him down a little bit, but it's really not the end of the world. It's still pretty solid. The thing I like about Life Reboot's position right now is that Life Reboot has a strategy. Like, there's a very clear thing from where he will be to the end of the game. The only problem for Life Reboot will be where are those two kind of hidden items in this case. Well, actually, just one remaining, just the Rod. We just don't know where the Rod is. If it's in, like, Ordeals, for example, it's going to be a massive advantage for Guardian Marcus here.
And that's kind of what he's banking on. There are still a lot of duds left out there.
Mm-hmm. I think for Life Reboot, the ideal is that it's like Bottle from Marsh or something like that, because I feel like Marsh is going to be a pretty easy dive. For people who have a strategy from the beginning, you just want the key items to just be like right along the core path, especially if none of them have good grinds in them. Hate pointing out that Fairy has a Cure Shard, so that means Marsh is all duds. Leads to a Black Mage, but not much else. Black Mage does have Warp. That is a time saver. Will save you a couple minutes over the course of the seed. More if you have to go to like Ordeals and it's nasty.
Well, we're fighting Gur-Imps in a box, apparently.
Yeah, interesting that I've been noticing Guardian Marcus has been like searching out like the spiked chests just to try and get some levels. Oh, that's not good for him though. Heal 3 sword. Sandworms though are promising, but does he commit to a grind? If he doesn't commit right now, he's never coming back. Decisions? Okay.
He kind of has to commit to... I mean, it has less than 219 health. There... Or, just want to take it one more time.
Unfortunate, because that was actually like one of the major things that you would get out of going to Ordeals here, is that you would have kind of one of the best grinds. But...
Well, yeah, that's the deadfall school of doubling down on bad decisions. So, not that going to Ordeals was a bad decision, but it turned out to be the incorrect decision. So, while you're there, if you find a great grind tile, take it so that it's at least a little advantage.
So the locations we haven't checked right now are all the Fiend Dungeons. I believe we've checked basically everything else. That's pretty good news for Life Reboot, to be honest. Okay, not choosing to go check the... Oh, no, he's going in now. Okay, that makes sense.
Len the Cat has been taking these Wismodies down to a solo grind on it. I think level 25 is what I saw.
Ooh, this is relatively slow, though, because the problem is there's 4 of them sometimes, and that fight takes a lot of time. This is a much worse grind than what Life Reboot was doing, but it may still be a strategy that ends up being, a middle-of-the-pack strategy, or like high middle-of-the-pack, because once again, he's got a committed plan to go to the end of the seed, which is always a good thing. Oh, Life Reboot. Oh.
But I don't think LRB has done the chime, and for the life of me, I thought that was like a turn-in or something.
It's Bicky.
Oh my god, he hasn't done Bicky.
Okay, yeah,
but Life... he doesn't get Bicky.
Life Reboot in a really good spot. The waterfall play was the play. Good grind. Good, both of your go mode items, the loot and the Rod, are here, and that means everything else is not required. So Ice, completely skippable. Don't need to check. Well, the other ones aren't really that big of a deal, but Ice is probably the big one. And Life Reboot doesn't even have to go to Marsh now. If he either has killed Bicky or just doesn't forget to kill Bicky.
And we're already at a pretty high level. I did not see what he ended at. I think it was maybe 32.
This is not the safest fight in the world.
Well, we have Roo Sticks falling out of our
Oh,
pockets. So.
right. Okay, no, this is fine. Okay, let's quickly pass it over to Gannon's. How's the other runners doing?
So it looks like a lot of people have dropped to a fighter and black mage party, or knight and whatever it's called, like black wizard, or yeah. So right now, Pickles and Beer and Bert are doing some kind of grind in a tile in Volcano with a Naga and Arsahag.
Okay.
Nobody's really done like a huge grind yet. Looks like Chanigan found a zombie D somewhere. I think it looks like it's an ice palace. Looks like maybe a single zombie D. He is actually running 3 knights and a black mage right now. So pretty much everyone's at least got the black mage, except for Shofukumachi, who's still doing double knight. But yeah, nobody's really found like a real god tier trap tile. But yeah, looks like everyone's still kind of searching.
Yeah, that okay, so we got a thief there, I believe. Yeah, from the sounds of everything, it looks like Life Reboot in a fantastic position, even compared to the other off-screen runners. You know, has his first orblet, has his grind basically done, has a committed plan, and critically went to Waterfall and Seed first, and those ended up being everything that Life Reboot needs, assuming he remembers to go kill Bicky.
If Life Reboot immediately goes to Provoca, I'm going to buy him the biggest wizard hat.
Okay, this makes sense too. Rod first is fine. There is 4 steps wasted when you check the incentive in Earth compared to not, and I think you check it anyways to find a ribbon. So, yeah, this play also makes total sense. Our trackers are saying he might actually have it, but they want to figure out if it's in his menu, but his menuing's a little bit quick. Okay, Rock Solid making the play too into Waterfall. If he doesn't go to like C after this, I'd be pretty surprised. So this could be go mode for Rock Solid, and Rock Solid also has Warp. Does Rock Solid commit to this tile? I really hope he does. Split once.
A little terrifying to commit to this. And when I say that, I mean I don't think he's promoted yet, so he doesn't have
no sword.
a weapon. Yeah, I think it is the right call to just warp out of here with that.
Okay, Saracen pointing out that from Bert's stream, the Volcano Incentive is the ribbon +3. That is actually something that's a little bit scary for Life Reboot. I think he's actually searching for ribbons. Like, for example, open some extra boxes on Earth 2, the top right ones that are just like strictly not required. Probably looking for ribbons, and then also a side effect is just be some armor. Rock Solid is going into Waterfall. If Rock Solid's not willing to take on a Tyro, there's no way that Rock Solid is willing to take on Kraken. So this probably is just going to be go mode for Rock Solid, and then he's going to have to decide what he wants to do.
It looks like behind Lich there was a white mage, so no black belts yet.
Okay, this is just making the decision to commit to fighter better and better. Honestly, if it's behind Kraken or behind Tia, it's not nearly as important. Okay, Life Reboot. For all the people who are cheering for you, go kill Bicky. Go kill Bicky. Or have the chime already. Okay, Roxal's saving some time because we have Warp, but going to be losing some time because going to have to double tip this location. Okay, people saying that Life Reboot's probably killed Bicky already, which means that Life Reboot's been in go mode for a while and is in a very, very good spot. The only thing that he really needs is some type of resistance. So picking up some pro rings. Armor situation, not great.
I thought there were some Flame 4s for sale somewhere. Answering something in chat from ClassGamer76. Fast was level 1. It's just we didn't have anyone that could cast it until 15 minutes in.
Okay, yeah, Demon Frog saying Flame Armor +5. I remember seeing that as well. Okay, we have both Guardian Marcus and Rock Solid deciding at this point that it's time to commit to fighters. I think that makes sense, but the delay is going to cost them. This double Roostick, like, the importance of it cannot be overstated. This is a very different seed without these knights being able to cast ruse. This is still going to be an ugly Topher though, eh? What do you think, Ben Pulse? Because I'm seeing like no healing, really, other than like I guess a heal 3-sword, which could come in clutch. But a 2-person dive with, you know, even if they have, one of them has 800 HP, but you have no cure 4, you have no life, and you just have ruse sticks. Nukes and nuclears can be a problem when Chaos has 7,000 HP, and you have no saber, no temper, no fast.
Oh, Life Reboot pulling a ribbon out of the hat. But you're absolutely correct. If that's going to be the gamble here, because if Life Reboot is in go mode and Temple of Fiends rolls a little bit easier, he could pull off like a 31 minute on this.
Yeah, for sure.
If he just goes. And we have a white mage behind carry, so we don't have a black belt yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Shun Bobby's saying you don't need to heal if refights die immediately, but I don't think this fighter comp is refights die immediately. I don't even think it's close to refights die immediately. I think I think it's like a 10-ish round fight probably against like the big beefy bosses if they roll high, right? Because no fast, no temper is very significant. Oh, will he check for ninja spells? This is huge. If he checks that white mage, it has ninja spells. Getting fast, everything changes so much.
I'd like to just jump in real quick here and mention that Thunder just tried to go take on Warmac with his party and got wiped. Yeah, so that's going to cost him a little bit of time. He went in with pretty thin levels there, sub 600 HP on his one fighter, so it got bounced. So yeah, it looks like he's going to Waterfall right now.
Okay, Waterfall's going to be good for Thunder, but that still is like, you know, a 2-minute time loss that it's really going to bite him. Yeah. Okay, Life Reboot obviously has the Chime. Rock Solid opening boxes.
Well, when you're looking at no black belt, you really need to find a ribbon. And I don't. Not a lot of people are going to check this location. You know, what is this called? The Deglu room, or is that the lake room?
Which one? Oh, the one at the bottom. I think they call it like Lich's. I don't know, something.
Lich's bedroom, I think sounds right.
Yeah.
But what I like to do in these is not a lot of people are going to check that. So if there's something that's really good there, it takes a little bit of time, but it could pay off in spades.
Yeah. Okay, here goes Life Reboot, putting the white mage up just to be a meat shield. Poor Guardian Marcus checking ice without warp. This is very, very slow. Warmech with Swirl. Getting the ruse sticks up. So he kept his stronger knight in slot 2, but that one's casting ruse. The other one's just providing, you know, chip damage. This makes some amount of sense. If Warmech can punch insanely hard, but like his main knight is relatively well armored, so I would expect it to be a 3-hit, not a 2-hit. At best. At worst, sorry.
Oh, until we get dazzled, that's not great.
Yeah. Okay, this still hurts. That was a crit through at least 2 stacks of evasion.
Well, yeah, with stun, I don't think you get the benefit of evasion.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay, healed, but 36 HP, not doing a ton of damage, and Life Reboot goes down. This is very much kind of what I was referring to. There's a big difference between a 42 black belt and a 42 fighter, and this isn't even a 42 fighter.
Well, Rock Solid turned in the Adamant. I don't think LRB turned that in, and it turned into an Opal +5 bracelet.
That is actually important in this game, like very important in this game. The chest armor is by far the most important piece of armor you can equip outside of, you know, a ribbon for very different reasons. That's really good actually, considering we've seen nothing else.
Now, I'm going to make a call here. I believe that a black belt is going to be behind Tiamat.
Oh man, that would just be all sorts of rude. Well, our runners kind of tread over each other's paths. We're going to tune into the Life Reboot Warmech 2.0 fight. Any other updates, Ganon, on our other screens?
Shohogumachi just lost a massive grind, unfortunately.
Oh,
in the Ice Cave. Turns out the trap tile by the chest, in center chest, had some like lobsters or scorpions with glance, and took him out his pirate, or both of his knights, and so he's back to level 7.
Oh no.
Yeah, some of the other runners, looks like Pickles and Beer just killed the volcano boss, and Thunder is predicted as doing a grind in Waterfall. Yeah, and yeah, it looks like Danny is taking out the volcano boss as well, and Shanigan is in Sea Shrine.
Sounds good. I'm kind of shocked, to be honest, that there's 3 runners, or 3 races this week have had no black belts. Like, it's kind of crazy, to be honest.
Yeah, the percentages didn't add up that way because I think we figured out it was around a 10% chance to not have a black belt available, and to have it happen 3 out of 4 times is just ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, there still could be a black belt available in this seed, but the black belt just doesn't matter if it's available in the seed. Okay, so if a runner picks up a white mage and checks that it has ninja spells, that could be huge here, because getting fast with a white mage would be very, very important. Like, I know that people have been mentioning, but like, it's really important to point out here, like, we are not going to be blazing through Topher. Yes, a Vorpal +5 is strong, but no Saber, no Temper, no Fast makes a big deal. This Warmech should go to, yeah, okay, there we go. I really didn't want to commentator curse that, but that was looking good. And it's a white mage. Wow. Got 1 spot left for a black belt. I don't think it's happening though, and regardless, you're gonna be in a little bit of trouble here.
No, I don't believe there are any spots left for a black belt because we saw all 3 of the NPCs, and this is the 4th orb that LRB is lighting, so...
Okay, LRB in a good position, but Topher gonna be ugly. Like, to be honest, Topher's just gonna be ugly for everyone, I think. Oh no. Oh no. Did you just see that, Dead Pulse?
No, I was looking down at something else. What happened?
Life Reboot just wiped after killing Tia. Oh, no, it was Tia. Okay, no. Wiped after killing Warmac to the Tiamat boss.
Oof.
3 out of 256 through a ribbon. Just brutal. Wow. Wow. Man, it's not his day. I mean,
well,
it was
what I will say is, so we're at the 34-minute mark, and I don't believe anyone has finished, so we can give a congratulatory GPs to Spellzap for having the fastest time this week.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, kind of expected, but not in terms of Spellzap winning it for sure, but 31 minutes, like, you need a lot of things to go right, plus to play amazing to get it. Like, when we were in our practices, we were saying this has, like, a soft cap at, like, 34, 35 minutes, right? That was, like, the fastest we thought was realistically doable.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what you got, and Spellzap beat you by 3 minutes. So, yeah, that was a heck of a time.
Well, thanks for bringing it up multiple times today.
Ganon comes in with the the soft chuckle just to dig that knife in.
I still have my neck brace on from the whiplash as he flew past me.
Okay, we got Life Reboot on Warmech 3.0. Unfortunately, it doesn't get better with repeated versions. Okay, Lend the Cat grinding on this. This really does seem like the best grind. We haven't seen the grinds behind, like, on C, really. That's the only place, though. So... So yeah, I do think this Tyro grind is the grind in this seed.
You see LRB hitting 6 hits for 6 damage. That's exactly what you were talking about in Topher, is without fast, without temper, that even with the Vorpal, that's possible.
Well, Vorpal's not a high damage weapon, and -10 strength actually mattering when your weapon has a base attack of what, like 40 or something like that, even at +5?
Yeah.
Classic Gamer saying the Vorpal really benefits from fast, but the Vorpal also really benefits from Saber/Temper as well. Like, it just needs to get its base damage up, so when it crits... I mean, obviously fast and Temper kind of, you need both, but with -10 strength, it really needs both. Oh no, okay. Dodge is the first Brack. Dodge is the second Brack. We're doing some damage.
Is he in a loop, or does Rubican have just Brax for days?
I don't think it can loop the same spell, but maybe? Like, I thought even if you were in an RNG loop, it still has to go through the spell list, you know what I mean? Like, even if it's constantly selecting the same action, like cast spell, I don't think it can skip spells in the list. So I think it's just basically all Brax.
Yeah, I counted 7 Brax, but...
Okay. I don't know. Final Fantasy
Listen,
RNG
Rubicant,
works in mysterious ways.
save some Brax for the rest of them.
Okay, life reboot in go mode at, like, all the orbs lit, ready to go at the 37-minute mark.
That is still blazing fast for this, specifically because you didn't pick up a black magic caster.
Right. Oh, interesting decision, though. I didn't realize that that's what... Wait, did he actually do that? It looks like he replaced his second fighter with a white mage, eh? Wait, no. His second fighter's just not up? Oh, okay. Mistakes were made. Going back. I saw 2 characters up, fighter, white mage. I was like, oh, did he replace his fighter with a white mage? And I'm like, okay, that seems okay, especially if you checked its magic, but no, the decision here is... Yeah, there we go. He just forgot to res. Man, if Life Reboot checked their blurses and saw that the white mages have fast, it would be huge. But it's just not happening. Okay, we got lots of people in C right now. We got Len the Cat taking on Carrie to try and light his second orb. We got Guardian Marcus going to go pick up his rod for go mode. Rock Solid doing his grind in Volcano.
I guess I could maybe jump in and give a quick update here.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like Thunder just killed Warmac and is now on his last orb in Earth. It looks like Chanigan actually wiped to Warmac and is having to go back through there. He kind of is going with an interesting party here and might be trying to target the low level victory. He's gone with like 3 fighters and a black mage, and they're all like maybe like around level 20, 25, something like that. So he is going to have a little bit of a problem with like nuke rolls and stuff like that. And then Burt Reynolds is also fighting the boss in Sky. Made it past Warmac as well. And Pickles and Beer is also in Sky, coming up on Warmac in probably about 30 seconds or so. I think most of these guys have most of the orbs lit. Maybe some still have to go back for Earth, but I know, yeah, Thunder should be going to Topher in probably about a minute.
Speaking of going to Topher, we have Life Reboot there. Looking over on my second monitor, Sir Lancelot's just grinding, got everything lit, but needs to get the fighter levels up there. Yeah, hate pointing out that LRB wiped out of the Masa chest, and yeah, also once again, Duskblue pointing out that Len is going to go get that rod, so everyone kind of in decent shape, but Life Reboot, oh god, this Topher. I anticipate a great deal of challenge here.
The first 2 bosses not having too much health.
That's good news. It's really going to be the last 2 bosses, I think, that are going to be problematic. Maybe even Kraken. Kraken also could be danger, but double Roo Sticks make a pretty big difference. Ooh. Pointing out that the X-Cal may be the superior sword here to the Vorpal without Fast and Temper. What do you think about that?
I believe it, but I don't have the math to back it up. Just because of the bonus damage and just because... Well, the hits are going to be relatively similar.
Yeah. I think they're right, because the X-Cal will prey on the weaknesses. Or, sorry, the types, not the weaknesses. These bosses don't have weaknesses, but they have types the X-Cal can prey on. Chaos does not, though, so the Vorpal definitely going to be the superior choice for Chaos, but for Tia, for example, here, maybe superior.
And if it wasn't for the -10 strength Malice, I'd say it would be closer. However, we got slow too.
Oh no. Okay, want to go through the fast-slow interaction, Dead Pulse, while our viewers cry for poor LRB here.
Alright, so when you have a number of hits, it takes your hit percentage, and you divide it by 32, that's how many hits you get, plus 1 with weapon. So when you get fast cast on you, it multiplies those hits by 2. But when you get slow cast on you, it takes away 1 from that multiplier. So basically, your regular one, you multiply your hits by 1. If you're fasted, multiply by 2. Slowed, it multiplies by 0, and then of course you get a free 1 hit. So
just an absolute disaster. Cure 4, slow 2. That's just terrible. Every time that you go up against that boss, you're going to get owned by that slow 2 unless you can miss it. Now, a way to work around that a little bit would be to... So single target spells still follow the hit ratio of the characters. So you get hit 50% of the time in slot 1, 25% of the time in slot 2, and 12.5% of the time in slot 3 and 4. So you may want to purposely try and dodge that slow 2, as I think it was second on his spell list.
If I got bracked through a ribbon in the first slot, if I'm ever taking on a boss again, I'm never going to have a character in the first slot.
Or a dead white mage.
Yeah, exactly. That is where the dead white mages go.
So there's a problem here, right? Because once he kills Warmech, he can't leave.
No one's leaving.
So we have a level 44 fighter with Amasa now, but oh man, I think Life Reboot, if there's one error in this game, it's not checking the statuses of the white mage to know that it can cast fast.
Yeah, but you know what? That's fine, because we've got level 44 fighter, we've got a Rouge Stick, we've got Mass Immune, and we got a Pocket Full of Dreams. I say go for it, LRB. I'm on your team.
Okay, we got 2 Warmechs on screen, but I think we have some significant things on other sides. Ganon, do you want to give us an update?
Yeah, Thundercloud is on Chaos right now with a solo fighter, or a solo knight. Looks like he's going with some Cure 3 shirt strats to try to heal himself up. He took a lot of damage early on in the fight. Chanigan's really struggling with this Warmech and his party comp. Burt Reynolds looks like he just got bounced out of Topher as well. He is restarting that. And Pickles and Beer is fighting a Warmech right now. I don't know whether that's... Okay, that's the Warmech that's guarding the Massa. So Pickles and Beer also in Topher as well. So a lot of people very close to finishing.
We have Topher Convergence. We also want to point out that 2 runners have indeed finished as well. So it looks like Cyranus coming in first place with a time of 42 minutes and 18 seconds, followed by Zenobian, 43:36. So, you know, Keyboard Cats just extending their lead, but a very good performance by Cyranus as well.
Yeah, so it looks like Cyranus is going to have the first basket all to his lonesome, because Zenobian finished 1 minute and 18 seconds after. So Zenobian's starting the second basket.
Oh no, did that hit again? Oh no, wait, this is a reset. Life Reboot got hit by the slow 2 again. This is unwinnable. You can't beat the Cure 4 with no attack buffs. So the way that you beat Cure 4 is you have to spend basically a full Cure 4 cycle just buffing yourself, and then you have to make sure you can burn the boss down fast enough. But this is just not a race you can win. Yeah, that's it. Okay. This is so unfortunate that Life Reboot doesn't even have exit, because this would be so much faster in order to like get through this if he could exit or warp out after killing Warmech.
But Rock Solid going back into Topher. It looks like we do have another finisher. That would be Thunderclaw in third place, 44-49. He sneaks into the second basket with Zenobian, both giving their teams 8 points, and it looks like that has closed. So the next person to finish, whoever finishes in fourth place, is going to start the third basket for 7 points.
Okay, Rock Solid into Topher. Guardian Marcus finishing up his last orb. Life Reboot gets through Warmech this time with 2 fighters up.
That's twice as many as last time.
That is true. Also, the second fighter has some more levels, but this is really just a one-man job. But the problem, there's a big difference when the one-man job doesn't have Cure 4 or life, right?
Yeah, it's Old A and Gray.
Stoned, actually a bit of a benefit. This stone character could be brought up just for Tia and put into slot 1 to hopefully take a slow 2 to the face, but I think Nuclear's first. Yeah, Rock Solid really performing here, showing fast and temper. Turns out Black Magic helps a lot. Needs this Black Mage to survive though, because we need it for future bosses.
Well, I'm pretty sure that, and I was about to say that Rock Solid has the Opal +5 bracelet, but Nuclear doesn't care about that.
Unfortunate. And Rock Solid, our first runner on screen through to Chaos.
Switches up to the Vorpal. Down to the third slot. Love it.
Increases the probability of getting a crit loop. And here we go. We're going to see triple ruse and then swing for your life. It's a pretty straightforward strategy when you have no magic you can cast. Maybe if you have some Cure 3 or Heal 3 stuff going on, that could also be used, but I haven't really seen it.
That was a 382 rolled nuke against his fighter. Damage poison not doing a lot, but that Vorpal is only hitting for 187 damage, 198 damage. This is going to be a long battle.
Okay, 400 damage. Zap misses. We need more insta-deaths like that. As much as they're scary, we actually want them. Okay, slow 2 coming up by Rubicon. I think it's the next still. Okay, Nuclear. Heat. Oh, swing, crit through ruse? Or is he just not rusing, trying to like survive? This Rubicon has 3 Nuclears.
It looks like he was slowed again.
Oh, disaster. And we have our 4th finisher off screen, Burt Reynolds of Team Gersnakes. No step on snack, with a time of 48 minutes and 13 seconds. But Life Reboot going to pick up something else, but just needs to check, more than anything, needs to check the White Mage blessings. Rock Solid, just rock solid on Chaos. Just pointing it out, but you know, this has just been a whole day, and I think there was some healing going on, right? Or has it just been taking no damage since I was last looking up there?
I believe there was a little healing involved, but I looked away because as soon as you said someone finished, I couldn't check that. But it looks like Nuke came back around on Chaos, and Rock Solid, first runner on stream to finish with a time of 49 minutes, 21 seconds. Let's get some GGs in chat. Rock Solid finishing 6th place. While this was going on, Sir Linkalot finished 13 seconds behind Burt Reynolds at 48-26. So Burt Reynolds, Sir Linkalot, and Rock Solid currently occupying the 3rd bucket.
Yeah, the 3rd bucket is going to last until 52:13. So these runners have a couple more minutes here to get in on that.
And do we have Rock Solid in the booth with us?
We do.
We do have Rock Solid
GG.
joining us in the booth. GG's Rock Solid, who I just unmuted.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, it's that was a fun race. There were some tight moments there, but it felt fast. I was actually a bit surprised. I thought I might have done better than 6th overall, but that just goes to show how fast these guys are.
Yeah, I think you had a really solid race. Like, a couple of the runners on screen were like got a little bit ahead of you at the beginning, but you were the diesel engine that just kept on going, and you had a solid plan for kind of everything. Did you wipe at all throughout that entire race?
No, I never wiped.
Yeah.
My Black Mage died a few times, but that's about it.
Yeah, that was a key difference, I think, for you compared to the other runners, is everyone else was wiping left, right, and center, and you only you got through the whole time, so you played like rock solidly. Yeah. So we do have one more finisher off screen right now. ADR has finished at a time of 50-50, joining that 2nd bucket. Lend the Cat in a race. Remember, I said that the bucket is going to close at 52:13. So Lend the Cat has about another minute here to take out this Chaos, and that's pretty large, HP pool to get through.
And that Vorpal only hitting for 61, hits 95 there. Oh my goodness.
Thank you, Bert, for the hearts, maybe? I'm not sure what exactly this is referring to, but Oh, I think it's because I said the don't snap on snack. But yeah, looking pretty solid performances all around. This was not an easy seed to navigate, eh? Dead Pulse, this was more like a knowledge check and making do with what you have, as opposed to I think the black belt straps that like everyone was practicing prior to the actual races happening.
Well, yeah, if you ran 10 practice seeds, 9 of them you were going to have access to a black belt. So it makes sense that the more practices would be on the option that happened more often.
This is actually like both fantastic for Len the Cat and very unfortunate. So Len the Cat using heal 3 staffs on the top fighter, but that time is actually it's actually burning so much time to use it. It's keeping this fight much safer, but I think it's going to knock him out of the bucket, and there it goes. 52-22, and just barely misses out on the bucket there. So Len the Cat looking to be the person who's going to start bucket 4. Yeah. Fighter. Oh, there we go. And Len the Cat finishing with an official time of 52 minutes and 39 seconds, missing out on the bucket by 26 seconds. That hurts, but good finish right there.
Yeah, let's get some GGs for Len the Cat. That was a rough topher for everybody involved, but Len the Cat stuck it out and made it happen. I mean, I enjoyed watching that.
Yeah, so it looks like Guardian Marcus also on Chaos. Assuming we don't see multiple wipes here, this should be another 4th bucket finisher. Poor life reboot. Went to pick up the ninja to get fast. Ugh, that's rough. And I'm sorry we haven't been calling the Chaos fights, but to be honest, the Chaos fights have been pretty exceptionally boring. It's just a lot of pressing A and doing 100 to 300 damage, depending on how many crits you get. Chaos does have nuke, but that's about it. So, some minor healing is pretty effective. Lots of insta-deaths, so Ribbon's definitely critical, but with a Ribbon, it's not so bad.
So yeah, Len the Cat leading off the 4th basket for 6 points. And that means that, what is that, 8 minutes? So at 1 hour and 2 minutes and 39 seconds, this will close, and then it will open up the next basket for 5 points.
And we'll see if Len the Cat wants to join us here in the booth. So yeah, Rock Solid, you're kind of here with us as Life Reboot tries to prepare. Do you kind of have anything else that you want to say about the seed?
Sorry about that. Just switching up.
Oh,
Yeah, no. I thought it was fun to start with 2 fighters, and then not get a mage or a black belt. For me, I think you mentioned, Jack, that I was a little bit slower getting started, and that's because I was hanging on to the idea that I might find a black belt. I probably should have promoted sooner than I did. But I did consciously want to really try and do the Fiends of Order, and I did actually get that rod at the bottom of C. That was one gamble that I took. I got the rod, which enabled me to go to her first, and I think I did get rewarded with the Black Mage there. So the strategy worked. I think I should have just maybe promoted sooner, and I would have been a little bit quicker.
Hindsight's 20/20, right? Because there was still 2 NPC characters that you hadn't seen at that point, and I made the exact same mistake on Thursday, so I fully understand. Like, sometimes you just gotta commit to a strategy that you know will win, even if it might end up being potentially slower. But like, the strategy that it's kind of like take the first grind tile that's good enough, rather than searching for the perfect one, because the perfect one might never show up, and then you end up stuck. So we are joined in the booth by Len the Cat. GG's, Len.
Thanks, guys. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you great.
Oh, man. So, we got those great weapons right off the bat, so I just kind of thought, okay, we're going to go with a fighter or 2 fighters. And, if we run across a black belt, okay. But, I never did. Was there one that I didn't discover, or,
Okay, we gotta take on a second. The music is a little bit high right now, so we'll get back to you in a second. Oh, okay, we're good to go. Okay, yeah. So GG's.
Okay.
Yes, there were no black belts in the seed. For the third time this week, we had Free Enterprise minus any black belts, but with relatively strong fighters. So yeah, walk me through. Like, you committed kind of in the middle of the pack for the on-screen runners to like saying, you know what, we're just gonna do this with fighters. Yeah, like what was going through your head there?
Well, I figured, with the Warple +5, you can't ask for better than that. The strength minus on the fighter was a bit of a, but the other guy would have the Excalibur +2, and then I saw Fast was level 1, so I thought, okay, I'm just going to pick up like the first red mage or black mage I see, and then they'll have level 1, and then I kind of spread the grind out over several different fights. I didn't find a great tile, but in this case, I was going to grind 2 guys fairly high and then have just a supporting mage. I couldn't keep the mage alive through all of the fiend fights. My mage died in the 4th fiend fight, and if I could have kept him alive and gotten fast off against chaos, I think I really could have cut my chaos time down.
Yeah, we were mentioning that like benefit and a drawback for you was that you actually had the fighter up to cast heal 3, which made your fight much safer, but I think it might have ultimately cost you the bucket. I think it was the correct play. It was just a little bit unfortunate because you were finished 26 seconds.
Yeah, well, I saw that Chaos was going to do a loop, and the only thing I really had to worry about was the nuke that he had. Everything else, I could most likely dodge. So I thought that I just needed to get as much healing up on the Vorpal user as I can. At that point, I wasn't really thinking about whether or not I was catching one of the buckets. I was just didn't want to wipe. Yeah, I knew that if I wiped, it was going to cost me quite a bit of time. But this is so strange that when you practice these, you always get a black belt, like always.
Yep.
And then in all of these, like there aren't any. But I think it is kind of nice. You guys said this kind of tests your knowledge a little bit more. This is a little tougher. You have to buy armor. Like I took the time to go and buy. I think there was like ice armor +5 that was super cheap. So you could really buff your guys out. And then I found that ribbon +3, and I was like, okay, we don't need wall. We should be okay. But I think we were lucky that Topher wasn't too terrible. The Topher that they had in the first race, if we would have had something like this, I think I would have had to go back and grind somewhere.
Yeah, no, I think you two being our first finishers on stream, like the two of you played the most like solid, like just like consistent, not necessarily going to try and like go as fast as humanly possible, but like checking armor, getting things, getting spells, getting more characters and all that stuff. And that was kind of the strategy that paid off here, especially with no black belt. I do want to pass it over to Deadpulse though for Guardian Marcus. How's this chaos fight going? I see multiple characters still up on screen and fast being cast, so I assume it's going okay.
Yeah, we're doing pretty well here. Lots of Cure 4 coming out by his White Mage. Everything's going fine. Guardian Marcus has about only 30-some seconds to make it into that bracket, and there he goes. Guardian Marcus finishing at 11th place. So since we last we're talking about this, Len the Cat, you finished at 8th place, and you were starting the 4th busket. So you finished at 52:39. So anybody who finished by 1 hour and 39 seconds was going to get the same 6 points. And Guardian Marcus barely squeaks in. Between Len the Cat at 9th place, we had Pickles and Beer at 58 minutes 34 seconds, and Danny 3883 at 59 minutes 11 seconds. And in about 3 seconds, this will close. So we are out of the 4th busket. We're going to have the next finisher leading off the 5th bucket, which is going to be 16 minutes from that time until that closes. Well, let's get some GGs in chat for Guardian Marcus, see if he wants to join us here in the booth.
Did anyone...
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did anyone try to do a low-level finish?
Yeah, Chanigan is on the low-level plan, and we're seeing in Discord that that's kind of what they're going for. So the interesting thing about Chanigan's time here is that assuming... Sorry, I need to sneeze. According to like the timelines and things like that, if Chanigan finishes, I believe he will end up with 7 points, which is the equivalent of being in bucket 3, if I understand correctly. So that's actually a pretty good finish, but just going for the low level. And I believe we are joined in the booth here by Guardian Marcus, GG's.
Hey, thank Jet. GG's.
I will pass it over quickly to Ganon. Ganon, can you confirm, is Chanagan going for the low-level strats? You kind of mentioned it earlier.
So unfortunately, his stream has been very shaky, and
Oh,
I just
okay.
basically had no idea what's going on. I think it actually just cut completely at some point,
Okay.
and so I stopped following it a few minutes ago because it was just completely offline.
Okay, no, that's fair. I'm just checking the Folly discussions, and it points out. Oh yeah. Okay, so Chanagan did indeed end up tying for
Lowest
the
level.
for the lowest level. So that looks very good. And yeah, he mentioned that there were some stream issues, so he's going to upload backup. This for all the Final Fantasy Randomizer runners who are in chat right now. This is a reminder: please record locally. If something goes wrong with your stream and you don't have a local recording, unfortunately, it needs to be a DQ. But if you have a local recording, you can submit that, and then all is good.
And also, if you're being restreamed, please don't cut early.
Yeah.
Let it play out.
Yes.
Life Reboot getting a couple of levels, picking up fast, and going in for hopefully his final Topher dive.
Yeah. Poor Life Reboot. Played just exceptionally well for the entire first 30 minutes of this race. And then one decision to not check fast on the White Mage has just honestly cost him the race. We have the ninja now with fast and things like that, but very, very, very unfortunate.
Oh, the white mage can cast black spells?
The White Mage has ninja spells.
Oh, I would have picked one up, man. Yeah, because I think there were like 3 or 4 of them running around the seed.
Yeah. The problem is that you can't check it without picking one up, right?
Yeah.
So it's very, very tricky.
Yeah, this isn't like the other seeds where you can switch through the various characters and see what all
Yeah.
the mals are. This time you have to check, but I wasn't gonna pick up a white mage.
Oh no, I was gonna be super hyped, but then I remember that his White Mage still doesn't have fast. I was gonna say a stoned White Mage is perfect because you just get to unstone it just for chaos.
No,
but...
he did pick up fast on the White Mage.
Oh, he did check. Okay.
The trouble is, I don't think Masamune is actually better than Vorpal +5 here.
I don't think so either.
Especially with the way that Chaos had so much absorb.
Yeah.
Here's kind of the problem with the Vorpal +5. Even though it is +5 and you have 40-some base damage, because I think the base damage of the Vorpal is 24, and then you'd add 15, so it's 39.
Mm-hmm.
But you still have -10 strength, so you're missing 5 damage from each hit. So even when you do crit, you're only doing between 70 and 80 damage on average per crit. And yeah, you're critting 30% of the time or higher, but it still means that with the Vorpal, you're only going to be swinging on Chaos for 120 damage on average.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not super pretty. Some fast and tempers will help though, because I believe temper was level 4 too. So, okay, moving some armor around.
And did any of these fiends have something unbelievably terrible that I was able to dodge?
Flow 2 and Cure 4 on Tia 2. I don't know if you saw that, but that actually has been what has been wiping LRB.
I think I saw double nuclear.
Did you happen to see the first Brack on Tia 1, or perhaps the 7th Brack?
Yeah, well, yeah, Tia 1 got one of my guys with Brack, yeah. So it was Brack, yeah. I definitely saw that. But I was so high level at that point, it didn't really matter.
I had a ribbon, but I was
LRB
fighting it
said.
one-on-one, and I was a little bit worried because, it can get through.
I was worried when I saw that zap come out. When Chaos dropped that zap, I was like, oh boy. That's what usually gets me through the ribbon.
Well, LRB still has the ninja left alive and the fighter, trying to get through Rubicon too. That ninja barely hanging on. 566 damage coming out. And the fighter takes a hit. That's perfect. And we got it terminated. We are on to Chaos, and I believe we have a cast of Fast left.
Hallelujah. Okay, life reboot. Finally getting through. Man, I feel so bad for life reboot. It was funny. Right before this broadcast started, what were you saying about watching life reboot stream, Dead Pulse?
So Life Reboot is actually my favorite person to watch, especially when he's using a webcam, because he's so, like, nothing phases him. Like, if something bad like this happens, he would still have the same, like, determined, stoic look on his face. And I like the way that he moves in kind of the fluid motion, if I want to get a little,
Mm-hmm. But do you think he was managing to maintain a stoic look on his face for the entirety of this seed?
I'm going to say yes.
That
Absolutely.
is extremely impressive. Okay, we got Fast off. We got Ruse off. We're doing damage. Okay, fighter swinging the Masa. That should work. Need some crits, but definitely doable. Okay, we're in Hold A and Pray time. Doing some good damage here, though. 16 hits makes a big difference. That's unfortunate. 14 hits, 46 damage, but the other good thing that has been happening is these bosses haven't been highly evasive, which has helped quite a bit. Oh, that's a big swing. That's a big nuke. That's a big swing. Yeah, the fast cast making all the difference. Crack, a free turn. There we go, 16 hits, 472. It looks like this Chaos wasn't actually that high health, eh? Closer to the 3,000 than the 7,000 Dead Pulse?
Yeah, correct. It just appeared so because every hit was averaging, 150 or 200. So yeah, it still took 30 rounds.
And we are joined in the booth by the potentially still stoic Life Reboot. GG's Life Reboot.
Hey, GG everyone else.
GG's everyone else. Man, that was so deeply unfortunate for you. I felt like you had, actually not felt, you definitively had the best early game, probably of any of the 14 runners.
Thank you. I really felt like I fell from first place to last place just because of Slow 2 and Cure 4. It was really, really a bummer.
Yeah. Okay, do you want me to crush your soul a little bit?
No, but...
White mages had ninja spells?
Oh. Oh, no.
Oh no, yeah.
That's a bummer.
Yeah, so I think, if you had just checked that we were really, it was very, very unfortunate, because I think you kind of made the right adjustment to go pick up Fast. It was just you didn't know you already had Fast, and that was just so unfortunate for you, because you actually picked up the White Mage and everything, and yeah, that was rough.
Yeah, I had picked up some White Mages just as shields because, no access to that level 1 Fast.
Mm-hmm.
But per what you're telling me, I just, you got so much going on in your brain as to what to take care of and check in these seeds. It's one of my faults is, these free airship seeds.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about execution and routing, and those, I will typically lose to other players that are better at those skills than me. I felt like I was on a complete tear for 90% of this seed, and I was kind of really tripped up because I got confused as to which was my higher fighter, and I had the ribbon equipped on my dead one when I went to fight Rubricant, who bracked me.
That's why you got bracked.
Yeah, like at first I was thinking, whoa, like what are the likelihoods of that with the ribbon? And then I realized, no, I didn't equip it. So it's just one of those things that once you choke like that, like things start to fall apart. And I'm really bummed for my team, who I thought that I was gonna maybe place first, and then I placed last. I'm sad about it.
Yeah, as someone who also placed the worst on their team this week, that's what I love about Fall League is the fact that, yeah, it sucks. It feels really bad to let down your teammates, but at the same time, they're kind of there to pick you up and they're there to go out the next week. It kind of motivates everyone to practice. Like I know the time that practice like when you practice, I practice the most when I feel like I have a bad week. But then it's funny because when I have a bad week, all my teammates also decide to go practice more to like kind of make sure that our team as a whole does well. So I think that's kind of like the best part about Fall League is, the fact that assuming your teammates are nice about it, like that camaraderie and the ability to kind of help each other out and pick each other up and say, you know what, wipe the dirt off your knees, wipe the dirt off your back, get back up, and we need you next week. And in the meantime, we're gonna go kick some butt. So that's a tough one for you, LAB, but I think you played very, very well, and just a few small things just really ended up being the difference for you there.
Thank you.
Dead Pulse, do you have any questions for these runners before we head into final thoughts?
This was I don't have any questions. I think everyone was kind of answered. I just want to say like this was a pretty tough seed in comparison to everything else, and like you should all feel really good like pulling off this seed at anything in a reasonable amount of time below 1 hour 20, 1 hour 10 is a really good job. So pat yourselves on the back. Thank you for closing out week 1, and we have Floaterless Classic next week, so I'm excited to see you all there.
Hey, guess what we don't have to worry about? White mages with black spells and all this other crazy stuff. We do have a bunch of interesting things going on though, with everyone having 2 force classes and then the other 2 being open selections. So we'll have to see. Or sorry, 1 force class and 1 class banned, I believe is what it actually is. Is that correct, Dead Pulse?
Yes, each day has a different captain, which is a forced class, and then a walk the plank character, a banned character they cannot use.
Yes. So I guess with that, we will head into final thoughts. As the first place finisher on stream here, Roxala, do you want to give us your final thoughts? You've been sitting in the booth here for a while.
No, just gonna shout out my team, Team Cheese Fries. We're the dark horse candidates. Nobody sees us coming, but I'm happy to add 7 points for the team.
I think you guys are currently 3rd, so I wouldn't even say you guys are the current dark horses. I think you're just the outright. Yeah, you're in 3rd right now. So can you call being dark horses when you're in 3rd place?
Well, I'm just going by predictions. Everyone's calling for the big names to win, and we're here. We're making our presence known.
Okay, Dead Pulse will give us some score updates once we hear the final thoughts from everyone. But yes, fantastic job. I know that something that's good about Team Cheese Fries is there's usually a lot of conversation going on behind the scenes, and you guys are all trying to make sure each other get better. And I think that's really key to what's going on. We had Ganon's Gone Wild here in the booth with us today, keeping an eye on what everyone else is doing. Yourself doing a fantastic job. Fryteeth, of course, coming first on Tuesday by a wide margin. I think Fryteeth may have had the Spells App still had the widest winning margin, but like Fryteeth had a very, very large margin of victory on Tuesday, and the Cheese Nerd, of course, coming at booth 2 on Monday. But with that, we'll pass it over to our second place finisher on stream, who I believe was Len the Cat. Len the Cat, any final thoughts for you?
It's just great to be racing again. I was away from the randomizer for a while. I came back over the summer, and it's great. And I had a load of fun.
Awesome. Yeah, no, you had a great race, and it was good to see you back, and I feel like you played very, very well. Guardian Marcus, final thoughts?
A little bit disappointing finish, but hopefully I can come back next week strong for my team.
Absolutely. And you guys on Rack Fishing Game Committee is certainly not out of it. 3 third bucket finishes and 1 fourth bucket finish means you guys are right in the thick of things. Once again, we'll get the final score updates from Dead Pulse at the end of this. And moving over to Life Reboot. Life Reboot, any final thoughts?
I hope you're enjoying Fall League. I'm just getting started and the fun has just begun. Jet, it's always nice to hear you on comms. Thanks very much to the race crew.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm happy to be back. I think I took a long hiatus from both racing and commentary after spring tournament, but this has been very fun to get prepared for. And even though the flags are so varied and things, it's just fun to prepare with a team. And that's pretty much it. I'll give my final thoughts and I'll pass things over to Dead Pulse to take things out. I want to thank Once again, a big thank you to Ganon's Gone Wild, Dead Pulse for co-comming with me. I want to thank Chadbert and Wildham for, of course, everything that they do, both on this one, tracking and behind the scenes. Wildham, one of our tournament organizers, so doing a lot of work on everything else. And I want to thank our runners for putting on a fantastic show. This was a tough seed, and I was very impressed that, I think we had one forfeit in all of the first week. Oh no, 2 forfeits in all of the first week of Fall League. It's always good. And, even when things are frustrating, LRB, like for example, going to the end of that stream, you're still going to be getting points for your team no matter what. So, and they're actually a substantial number of points too. So good job to everyone on that. And I want to thank Hate for restreaming and our people for hanging out in chat. So with that, I'll pass it over to Deadpulse to give a score breakdown and take us out of here.
Well, excellent. While we were talking, it looks like somebody who might not be named, it was probably Dark Moon, updated all the scores. So as far as the first week is done, our first place team so far are the Keyboard Cats at 35 points. The second place team is actually a tie between Cake and Break and Team Cheese Fries with 31 points. And rounding out the top 4 is a tie for 4th place at 29 points, the Center for Competitive Forfeiting and the Faculty. But we have a lot of teams here that are at mid-20s that are within striking distance. But as it stands, those 5/4 teams are the ones to beat. I would like to thank Final Fantasy Randomizer for hosting this race. And I'd also like to thank everybody behind the scenes. This was a great week 1, and I'm excited for 3 more weeks of Fall League. So until next week's race, I bid you adieu.